Hi, I'm Jazz Tangcay, Senior Artisans Editor at Variety, and thrilled to be here for the Critics' Choice in Conversation. With us today, we have Dune 2's producer, writer, and director, Denis Villeneuve. Hi, Denis.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fabulous. Thank you so much. Let's talk a little bit about the screenplay and, this time fleshing it out. What I really loved was seeing how you explore the female characters more. Talk about that a little bit and how you spent time.
It all started with this idea that Frank Herbert was disappointed by the way the first book was perceived by some of the readers, who perceived Paul as a heroic figure. And for him, he wanted to do the opposite. He wanted the book to be a cautionary tale, a warning against a charismatic leader, messianic figures. In order to correct this perception, he wrote another book called Dune Messiah that correct this perception. He was hoping will make his message more clear. And I knew that, of course. And so I had having this perspective on the first book, I tried to be more faithful to Frank Herbert than to the book, meaning that I tried to find a way to bring this idea more clearer this idea of the cautionary tale, the warning. And in order to do so, I used Shani, the characters played by Zendaya, who in the book disappears into the shadow of Paul. But instead I gave her a precise agenda, I gave her a presence on screen, and she became our moral compass in the third act. In the book, Shani disappeared, but in the movie, she became more prominent. She became almost our point of view. And she gave us perspective on Paul's trajectory. And Shani is tremendously important in part two. She's the character that helped me to bring this important idea of a cautionary tale in the movie. As for Lady Jessica, that is a character also that fades away in the second half of the book. I thought being the main architect of the whole story, all the story unfold because of Lady Jessica. I thought it was sad to lose her, and the opposite, she should be much more present in the movie. So, and because it's a Bene Gesserit adaptation, I focused this adaptation on the Bene Gesserit sisterhood. I had to keep this character active, present, and give her her own trajectory. And it's a character. It's one of my favorite characters. I adore Lady Jessica, and I had all the firepower of Rebecca Ferguson, that is a tremendous actress. So I wanted to keep that, to have her in the story, keep the character present in the story until the end, and which makes absolute sense when you think about the whole story of Frank Herbert.
I love that, and Rebecca Ferguson is phenomenal. So what you did with her character was so great to see. What was the most difficult part of adapting the second half of the book?
I will say that it's something that I feel that was very, very important at the heart of this project, is that the intimacy and the relationship between Paul Atreides and Shani will be at the forefront, will be the center of the project. That it was important to make sure that we will not get distracted by all the big elements of the story, but that the intimacy, to protect the intimacy of this relationship, because through the evolution of this relationship will unfold the whole drama.
The other thing that I really loved is the casting. Talk about your process and how diverse it was. Talk a little bit about.
Dune gives me the opportunity to try to create a world, a diverse world where we have different factions coming from different planets, and I wanted to embrace that diversity that is present in the book. By the way, it's all in the book, and I wanted to be faithful to that, and it gives me the chance to cast actors from different parts of the world, and this is a privilege. This is an incredible privilege to have the chance to work from people from different places like that, and different talent, and I'm personally very excited by the Fremen. It's people that are I absolutely love their culture. I try to respect and bring them as much as possible of that culture on screen.
Love it. I love my artisans and I love your artisans on this film. What was it like working with them again to help bring your vision, whether it was, Jacqueline or Greg Fraser or Joe Walker? Talk about, and even, Hans Zimmer, talk about reuniting with them to help.
It was the first.
To life.
Yeah, it's a good question. It was the first time of my life that I was revisiting a same universe. Usually, I go from one movie or the other. I jump in a total different environment. This time, I was revisiting, and to go back with the same band, with the same artist that knew the language, that knew the rules and the aesthetics and the alphabet, and it was it allowed me to go deeper and to create a much more ambitious movie because I was working with the same great artist. And it was very important for me to have that continuity between both movies. And Jacqueline, again, which was a costume designer that is well known for historical period drama movies, brought as the ability to express different cultures, the depth of those cultures, the logic. There's an incredible amount of details in her work in just the way she creates, makes some fabric will be created in India, the other one for the other faction will be created in Norway. There's always there's an incredible amount of details, and even the fabrics, where they are coming from, the way they are done, the way I wanted Jacqueline to create the culture to feel the depth of those culture through the costume design, and she absolutely nailed it, and it's a joy for me because let's face it, very often when you look at the movie, there's nothing. We are in the desert, the big barren landscape, and what stands out are the costumes. And it was important for me to have a master that will be able to express a lot through the costumes. Then, of course, those movies, the structure of those movies are complex. There's a lot of intricate storylines, and I wanted this movie to have a stronger rhythm than part one, who was, by its own identity, a more meditative movie. I wanted part two to be a bit more muscular, and Joe Walker tremendously helped me to create that momentum in the scene. It was written differently, part two, but I needed also an editor that would understand that to keep the identity of the first movie, but bring it with more muscularity in the second one. And Joe, we had a great time cutting this movie together. It was more playful in some ways than part one. And of course, my brother in arms, Greg Fraser. For Greg and I, we wanted again to keep the same vocabulary, visual vocabulary as part one, but push it further to have being playful with the language and bring new ideas that were in the screenplay, like for instance, opening the movie on the eclipse moment, or having to play with the Getty Prime on a black and white world, where a world where the sunlight will subtract color instead of revealing them. So I try to push ideas a bit further, than so we will feel always, the audience will always feel having a feeling of discovering something new, not having the feeling of revisiting, but always a feeling of something fresh and for the eyes. And it was the same for production design with Patrice Vermette, who I said to Patrice, you have to expand the world. We are not allowed to go back. in any location. We have to start from scratch and design a new world, respecting the old one, but still my mother will feel that she's always destabilized by novelties, and if I can say so, yeah.
Incredible. Denis, it's such a pleasure speaking with you and hearing insight into building the world of Dune. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing Dune 2 again on the big screen.
Thank you.